Okay, welcome to the next lesson 4 for the second data analysis notebook. This notebook is more focused on going from getting some data, manipulating it, and then uh, turning it into some insight. So let's begin. We're going to look at data from continuing with our SQLite database. And we're going to read in stores, Walmart stores, take a look at them, and then we're going to read in this other data. And so that's how we just query data from a database using pandas. You can have any sort of SQL statement in here. So now we have two data frames called stores and other. Queries, data frame queries, right? This is how you would just do a simple, oops, sales is not defined. Oh, okay, so it looks like I need to also query. So this error says sales is not defined, right? And that means that I haven't read into it yet. And so now let's actually take a look at sales in here. So this is weekly sales per date here for different store departments. Let's see if there are any. So we can look at. Here's another way. We can look at store, right? Okay, so we start. So there's for sales, there's 421,000, individual sales. You look at unique stores. Okay, so that means that yes, selecting querying for store 1 and probably department 1 is definitely going to return some data. Okay, so it returns 143 rows. So that is how you can do kind of like a similar SQL-like VLOOKUP. You can also do so these queries, they support F strings, so you could have a variable called store and then query it directly against the sales data frame. That is how we query data. So for joining and merging data, other stores, we can merge other and the stores data frame together on the store column. So sales, store, other, store, they both have the same column. So we can do that and run it, and we'll see now we have both data joined. That should have been already run. So now we have we can join on two columns. So here we're joining this data frame, the other stores data frame, onto sales based on store and date. So yep, there you go. And so now we have kind of all our data together on a single data frame. It's really nice because we can generate plots off of it. Okay, so we can also group data. So for example, this says what are the weekly sales at the store level? So we can do a group by of the sales data frame and then look at the weekly sales column and sum that up. So that gets you this group by object. So it summed up all the stores that it had in it, and it's summing up the weekly sales, but it's still leaving date intact. We can return this to a data frame if we please, so that it's we can again continue doing queries on it, because when you have this store sales somewhat what exact so if we have this, what type is it? Oh, it's a series. Okay, so it's not a group by object. It's a series. So we can pop it back to a frame, using toFrame, to get back the columns. Okay, so to pivot data. So pivots, very common in Excel. There is a Excel-like pivot called pivot table, but this one's more of a basic pivot. So we're going to take store sales and oh, there's a good guide in Pandas that has all sorts of different type of ways to reshape data, and I recommend you read through it to gain a better understanding. I only go through the basic pivot here. Okay, so we're going to pivot store sales, and we're going to re-index using date, the columns we care about store, and we're going to put in weekly sales value. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so compared to store sales, this is pivoting on on date, store, and weekly sales. Okay, so now we have all the individual stores as columns, and this is rows of dates. Okay. Sorry, the index is date, and then but the data is weekly sales. Now we can easily plot this. Okay, so now we can see that. Now I had to run that twice because I believe I didn't add the matplotlib inline function. But so weekly sales by store. We can see, wow, there's very much like a seasonal effect here. On these spikes, this is probably around the holidays for each year. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so that's an issue. So fig size, by the way, is on the what dot plot is doing. It's passing all these values to matplotlib. So we're keeping it basic by just adding a title, turning off the legend because there's too many. There's too many. I guess the individual stores. And we are updating the figure size to be a little bit larger. Okay, let's see, what else can we do? Okay, this is a window function, and window functions are used to generate moving averages. I believe you have simple moving average and an exponential moving average. Here's like a simple moving average. Using a rolling mean. I believe there's, yeah. So this smooths out the data a little bit more. And so we also have cumulative functions as well. And so here's the cumulative sum of the store sales, right? So it's growing as time continues, and so that's showing like the performance. I get, some stores have more weekly sales than others, or better performing than others. And so that's the end of this lesson.